Once regarded as useless swamps and breeding grounds for mosquitoes, wetlands have long had a bad reputation. My name is Jan Wollenberg, and today I'm hoping to change that image as I discuss how restoring one particular type of wetland, called a salt marsh, can actually help fight global climate change. Salt marshes are a type of grassy meadow which occur along the coast and are regularly flooded by the tide. When marsh plants grow, they remove carbon from the atmosphere and store it in their leaves, roots, and stems. Now, when those plants die, rather than quickly decomposing like they would on land, some of that carbon and plant material is buried by new sediment washed in with the tide. Because of this, restoring just 1 football field worth of salt marsh is equivalent to replanting 10 football fields worth of forest. So salt marshes really punch above their own weight when it comes to fighting climate change. Unfortunately, over the past 200 years, more than half of salt marsh habitat in eastern Canada has been drained. The good news is, these marshes can be restored by letting the tide back in and allowing the marsh to redevelop. Now, despite the benefits provided by salt marshes, restoration work is still costly. My master's research is looking at how we might be able to leverage the financial value of that new carbon storage to help pay for more restoration work. To support these types of projects, Canadian provinces have begun to put a price on carbon pollution. The idea is that by establishing a fixed price on carbon, businesses pay for all the carbon they release and are rewarded for all the carbon that they remove. This provides a direct financial incentive to projects which remove carbon from the atmosphere, just like restoring a salt marsh. Now, to better understand this, I am studying one of Canada's first salt marsh restoration projects, which took place in New Brunswick in 2010. This past summer, I visited the recovering marsh and collected soil samples and analyzed in the lab to determine their carbon content. My results suggest that so far this small marsh has already removed more than 10,000 tons of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. To put that in perspective, that's as if we took 2,000 cars off Canada's roads for a whole year. From a financial standpoint, the value of that new carbon storage is more than $130,000 based on Quebec's current carbon price. Now, what gets me really excited, though, is to think even bigger. If we could restore all the drained marsh in just Quebec and New Brunswick, it would be equivalent to removing 500,000 cars from Canada's roads permanently. It could generate up to $30 million in new carbon offsets and would go a long way to funding additional restoration work. Now, of course, it's unlikely we're going to be able to restore all of that drained habitat, but I hope that my research will help to identify and target priority areas for future restoration work and help to ensure a healthy environment for all. Thank you for listening.